David from Triangle, and in this video we're going to create a data module using Cognos Analytics. So first of all, what is a data module? A data module is a way of linking data together so that people can easily build reports or dashboards over it. The data can come from more than one system and even flat files such as Excel and CSV. Inside a data module you'll find collections of data known as tables, and within each table are columns. The tables can be joined together so that a single report can use data from more than one table. You can also filter the data, for example, for orders you only want to report those that have been dispatched. Plus you can tailor which columns are shown to the person using the data module. This is useful if there are empty tables or sensitive data that you don't want people to see. In summary, a data module is a simple tool that can empower your staff with self-service data analysis capabilities. Of course, there will be concerns over data governance, but measures can be agreed and put in place to manage them. So let's start building the data module. First we click on New and select Data Module. As you can see here are a list of different sources. We could use a predefined data module, data service, which we're about to use in this demo, uploaded files, which is the Excel and CSV I mentioned, and also data sets, or it could be a mixture of them. So as I said, we can use data servers, and the one we're interested in is Great Outdoors, which comes with Cognos Analytics. Once I click on that, you'll see the schemas that are available to us, and this one I'm interested in Go Sales. Then we move back to the left and we can see the selected sources Go Sales, and then we click on Start. So now we're ready to start building. If we click on the arrow here, we can see all the tables. In your schema there may be hundreds of tables, so to find them can be challenging. So there's a search box called Intent where we can click in a word and then find tables relating to that word. There's sales as an example, or let's try order, and there's a table to do with orders. So let's start pulling in some tables. Let's start off with order details. We can drop it into the main body or into the center column here called data module, either will work, and we start to build up our list of tables that we want people to access. So we've got order details. Let's bring in order header, and straight away you can see it's built an automatic join. If I simply click on that, we can see it's done it on order number to order number. Alternately, I can right click on that connection and edit it and see that that's built on order number to order number, the join type, the cardinality, and even you can apply a filter if you wish. So now let's bring in another table. Let's bring in country. And you can see in this example it hasn't built a join because there's no columns that it can automatically build a join on, but if I were to bring in branch, it can create a link automatically between order header and branch, and therefore between branch and country. So that's bringing tables in. So just in case you've picked on a table you don't actually need, you can right click on there, that table, and remove. So let's try and bring in another table, but in this case one that doesn't automatically join. And now I'm going to show you how to manually join these two together when you get this situation. So I click on the first one and then control click on the second one which I want to join together, and then right click and select join. These queries will then report back the data so you can actually see what's going on inside the data to help you decide and see what the columns are. So in this case I can see 4-digit country code and 4-digit country code, so that's what I'm going to join the two on. Then I'll select at the top country code and country code. If there was a second field you could click on plus and add a second column in as well, but that's enough for this one. So you can now see there's the join. Next we're going to show you the concept of filtering that I mentioned earlier on. If I double click on branch, that'll expand that down, and if I click on branch code and right click and then select filter, we can now start to filter. We could either put range in, or in this case I'm going to pick individual values, and it's actually listing the values of branch code. And for this demo I'm just going to pick out branch code 19 and apply, and you'll notice that it leaves the filter symbol next to that. So I'm happy with that now. So we've got some tables in here, we've applied a filter. Last thing will be to save that, and generally there's a folder called data modules which we can store that in, and I tend to prefix all of my files with the two characters, either DS for dataset, DB for dashboard, or in this case DM for data module, and I'll just call this one test. Right, so this is a very simple one just for the demo. Obviously you can bring in more and more and make this more complex if you wish, or add another data source. But now let's go and actually try and run this and demo the use of this particular data manager module that we've just created. So if I click on new and click on report, and we'll a simple list report for this one. And if I click on the left hand side, the data icon, click on the plus, and back in the data modules we will just select the DM test that we've just built, and we see those tables come in. So I'm going to bring in branch code to show you that the filtering is working, and I'm going to bring in from order header the order number, and from order details let's bring in quantity. And if I run that as HTML, there's some data coming back, and you'll note that it's automatically totaled the quantity per order number, and there you see just branch ID 19 that we selected. So there's building a simple data module.